welcome to another edition of The Outlet. Today, we're bringing you a special edition of it, unfortunately, and fortunately, because I think the message is really important. We're not interviewing a student. We're actually interviewing Faris, who is a friend of mine who has been on the front lines of protests in Atlanta, Georgia, and he has quite an interesting story. So first and foremost, let's introduce Faris. Faris, how you doing today?
I'm all right, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. You know, it's been crazy times trying to do my little part that I can do during all this. I think that's, you know, awareness and having the uncomfortable conversations is really important because if people are living in comfort, you're not doing your job at this point. So
right.
It's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah,
So
man.
I reached out to you last night because I saw something absolutely remarkable. And so I want to take my viewers back through what happened to you 2 days ago. And before I show this video, where were you? At the mall, but you're down in Atlanta right now. So can you explain to everybody where you were and set the scene, and then we'll watch you come down the escalator.
Okay, so we went into the Cumberland Mall. All we went in there with was a Black Lives Matter flag. That's it. We wasn't like on some super loud, disruptive stuff. We wasn't even on that type of time. We was carrying a flag, and while we were carrying the flag, obviously people started looking at us and stuff like that, you know? So security came to us and was like, you can't do that here. And I'm like, what you mean we can't do that? All we doing is holding the flag. That's it. We're not doing that wrong. If I came in here with a Black Lives Matter shirt, would that be a difference? Like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? So he was like, you just can't do that here. So I was like, well, I'm not leaving. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep going. So he contacted, I guess, the head of security. So the head of security at the mall came down, and the manager of the whole mall came down. And he was like, bro, talk to me. What you trying to do? And mind you, both these gentlemen are black, you know? So I'm like, y'all know what I'm doing. Y'all know exactly what I'm doing. Like, what do you mean? He was like, well, you can't do that here. And I'm like, I can't carry a flag, bro, and we out here dying. I can't carry a flag through this mall. So he was like, yeah, man, but you know what's going on, man. People are scared. And I'm like, people scared? How? What you mean? Are they scared because I'm holding a flag? I'm not doing nothing wrong, bro. I was like, if anybody should be scared, it's really us. We the ones getting killed. Like, what you mean? Y'all scared. You know what I mean? So I tried to talk to him for about a good 30 minutes. He was basically telling me, either you got to leave or I'm calling the police. You feel me? So, and by that time, the National Guard had already showed up. They were already there. They was already walking around the mall. So we stopped talking to him. We kept going. So while we're going, one of my folks I record music with, they seen me there. You know what I mean? And they wasn't on peaceful. They was on, they loud and being belligerent. Cause at this point, I had just told them, bro, they trying to kick me out. So at this point, it's like, okay, you kicking me out for being peaceful? Let me show you the opposite way then, so you can see how we really could have been. You know what I mean? So he started getting loud. He started getting real loud, and all I was doing was still holding the flag. So I'm see them coming. I'm watching them. Whole time I'm holding the flag, I'm watching what they doing. The National Guard started sending orders. I seen the head dude start going like this, like making people go certain ways. So they were coming down the escalator. So we went up the escalator. So we went up the escalator. You know? So while we slowly going up, they slowly coming down and just staring at us. And they was just mad looking at us, you know. So by the time they got down to the bottom, one of the dudes was like telling them to go up here, and they made the rest stay down. So I'm like, all right, they about to lock us up now. So at this point, I just put my hands up, you know. So
all right, so let's cut to that video now, so then we can take it from there. All right, so give me 1 second. All right, here it is.
Yeah, Reese. Yeah, Reese. Oh, it's up. It's up. It's up. It's up. He ain't do shit. It's up. He ain't do nothing. It's up. He ain't do shit. He ain't do nothing. It wants to leave. He ain't do nothing. taking a nigga in the back. Now they taking a nigga in the back. Now they taking a nigga in the back. Now they taking bro in the back. Now they taking bro in the back. These niggas tripping.
All right, so what we just saw there was exactly what you were describing. You're now coming down the escalator. Put your hands up. Don't shoot.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Calm expression here at the protest. And then after that, you lay down on the ground. Is that your girlfriend that's over top of you? Who's standing over top of you?
Yep, that's my girl. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And now she was arrested as well, or was she just escorted out with you?
Yep, they locked both of us up.
And what was their reasoning when you get there? What did they say to you? Because what I'm looking at, there's no resist. If anything, you're saying to the people, "Okay, lock me up." If I'm doing something, like what logical excuse were they given?
They said criminal trespassing. That's what the charge was. It was criminal trespassing. They said once the dude asked us to leave, we were supposed to leave. But I told them, I was like, in the midst of our conversation, it's another video of this too, of me talking to the dude. You know what I mean? I talked to him for a very long time. And it was a part where he was saying, yo, bro, I'll walk with you too. You know what I mean? But eventually they're gonna shut them all down, bro. And I was like, that's fine. That's okay. That's cool. I really want them to shut them all down. For real. And so people can like feel what we feeling. Like y'all out here acting like life is normal. Like, no, we get killed out here. So yes, shut down the mall so they can see how passionate we are about how we feel about or how our people are getting just killed out here systematically, you know. And he acted like he felt where we was coming from, you know what I mean? But he was ultimately the one who sent us to jail. You know what I mean? It's crazy actually. We actually are about to sue the mall for real. But it was crazy, man. But one thing I will say is when we were in the back, when the police brought us in the back, I had a change of heart right there, man. I was like, all the officers was basically telling us like, yo, we don't support what none of those people did to that man. We don't support none of that. But there's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way to do things. You know, he was like, when people hold protests, they contact the city and they let them know ahead of time. And he was like, when you do that, we'll be there with you to protect you, to make sure they don't shut down your protest. But he was like, you got to do it the right way. We're with you. We stand with you. I promise you we stand with you. He's saying all these things, you can feel when people's energy real and is when it's fake. And I felt it. I could tell it was real, you know. And they all were saying the same thing. He was like, they all were saying it, like we don't like what they were doing. That's wrong. But we still got a job. And we gotta fight our way too. You know what I mean? We gotta do it our way. You do it your way, we're gonna help you do it your way, but just do it the right way, you know? So it made me change my heart, man. I'm not gonna lie.
So can you tell me what the experience was like about, you're in the middle of this protest and the movement, a peaceful protest that obviously your friend gets loud, but what's it feel like to be put in handcuffs by the very people that you're protesting, but then hear that message?
I'm a very, very, very open and understanding person, man. I'm very extremely open and understanding, man. So once they started saying what they were saying, I understood where they was coming from. Do I agree? No. Do I believe that they should have let us protest? Yes, of course I do. I get all of that, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's no way to escape the reality. And a lot of people want to ignore reality right now. We can't win no war fighting them. It's not going to happen. We're not organized enough. We don't have enough weapons, and we're not strong enough, and there's not enough militant people. You know what I mean? What I'm finding out with being on these front lines is people are causing havoc, but then they're going away. They're running. You know what I mean? So it's not like they really trying to fight the police. They just trying to get their rocks off. You feel me? They're not really up there really trying to go against. You know what I mean? So a lot of people aren't militant, and what's going to happen is the ones who are being militant are going to get a lot of people killed. You know what I mean? Because it's not enough of us, and people have to it's a harsh reality, but we have to accept that reality. And once we accept that reality, it's like, okay, so what other options do we have? And the other options we have right now is to protest peacefully. You know what I mean? Because once we do that, that's when you see stuff like the Atlanta officer holding my hand, because now we're on the same page. You feel me? So
yeah, so that was one of the things that really struck me you know, I see you get arrested, right? And I see the photos, I see, you know, all the stuff. And then last night, all of a sudden, I see you holding hands next to an Atlanta police officer with a megaphone in your hand. And then later video comes out. And so I'm going to play that video. And then I'm going to have you walk me through what happened last night, okay? One moment.
Okay.
If you hold my hand and walk back that way, and y'all walk with us together, they are going to go home. I promise you. Give us 10 minutes. 10 minutes of walking with us. I said walk with me. Let's go. Walking together. Yes, the cops are walking with us. For real? Yeah. So what's that gonna happen? Chill. We're walking together. We're human at the end of the day. I promise. Thank you guys.
That's pretty damn cool, man.
Yeah, man, that's watching it, man. It's like, yo, that's wild, man. It's wild, bro. Watching it is just crazy, bro.
For me, like, you know, you turn on the news and there's this painting that, you know, this movement is about the hatred of cops.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I've grown up, I have family that are cops, good cops.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to say bad cops don't exist. I've met bad cops. I've met the bad cops. You know, I had a concert that I put on one time, and I had a state police officer say that I was inviting the ghetto into this concert, and I was going to have a shooting where it was, and I ended up having to pay $3,000 to the Delaware State Police so I would have protection, and it was total bullshit. Meanwhile, I have a white artist come in a month earlier, and the cop says nothing, and I have 200 people there and a peaceful thing with absolutely no police presence. So I understand, like, there are bad apples, there are bad cops, there are people with bad intentions, there are racist people. But what got me about that video is seeing the officers that are in militant gear, riot gear, taking off their helmets and starting to shake your hands and form that circle. Take us through what happens after that circle is formed and you get a bullhorn, and, like, what don't we see on the video?
Yeah, man, listen, that video is only a percentage, a small percentage, like a 15% of what really happened, man. Like, basically all day long, we were protesting. All day long, we was marching all through the streets. The helicopters was following. I'm talking about like 4 helicopters following the whole crowd all day long. The protest was not supposed to be that long, but they were letting us rock because, like I said, they feel us. They understand where we come from, so they was letting us protest. Now, the 9 o'clock curfew has been put into effect. They can't do nothing about that, and I mean the police. There's nothing they can do about that. You feel me, bro? So when the 9 o'clock curfew came into effect, they were saying go home. Now, at this moment, I knew everything was about to go left because I was out there the first night with CNN and when things were left in, you know what I mean? So they started throwing rocks, and I was like, yo, it's about to be another night. Okay, I already knew. I felt it in my spirit. And nobody was talking to the police, like talking to them for real. So when they started throwing tear gas, this was before that video, they shot tear gas, but it wasn't like a lot of them. It was only, like I said, one of the bad cops, you know what I mean, shot tear gas. And I ran because I had to get out of the way because ain't no sitting there while the tear gas is hitting you. You know what I mean? There's no way. So I was going back, wiping my eyes and stuff, and it was people out there waiting for obviously waiting for people to get hit by tear gas because they was out there with the spray milk and they were spraying our eyes and stuff. So people was running and going the other way. And while I'm wiping my eyes off, something in my spirit was like, no, don't leave. Turn around and go back and talk to him again. So I went back around with my hands up because they right at that moment, they got their guns drawn. You know what I mean? So I go back, I got my hands up, and I'm like, yo, like, and my pain just came out at that point. Like, I started crying and everything while I was trying to yell at him. And I'm like, yo, stop shooting us, yo. Like, I'm trying to talk to them. Just give us time so we can talk to them and tell them to go home. You just basically, y'all can't expect us to move at the snap of a finger. It's not how life works, bro. And but they was hearing me though. You know what I mean? I was like, you got to give us time to send them home. These is angry people and they angry for a reason. Give us time so I can push them back. And he was like, all right, go ahead. So as I go back, people still throwing rocks. I'm ducking bricks, rocks and all that. Cause at this point, the people in the front line were standing in between the police and the protesters. You know what I mean? So it's angry people in the back of the protest just throwing rocks, bro. It's rocks, just steady going. You know what I mean? But at this time, the police stopped shooting tear gas, you know? Mm-hmm. So at this point, me and my girl, her friend, and a couple more people was yelling at everybody like, yo, stop throwing rocks. You feel me? They let us protest all day. They've been with us all day. It's time to go home. We can come back tomorrow and protest, you know? So some of us heard us, some of them heard us, and some of them didn't, you know what I mean? So, excuse me, as we try to push them back, people still throwing rocks. So I go back, I talk to the police officers again. At this point, he like, yo, what do you want? What do you want us to do? Because I'll help you. You just got to let us know what you want us to do. I said, bro, give me 10 minutes. Just give me some time. Because they're not going to calm down. Like I was saying the same thing. I was repeating myself. I was like, they're not going to calm down and just leave while y'all shooting tear gas. They're going to be doing chaos like the first night. I'm telling him all of this, and he's like, you're right. So he was like, what do you want me to do? I was like, I need to talk to them. Let me talk to them. You feel me? So he was like, yo, somebody got a bullhorn or something. So he gave me the bullhorn, and that's when I went out, and I was telling them like, yo, they let us rock all day. The protest was been supposed to be over. It was been supposed to be done, but they let us rock. It's time to go home. We did our job. We protested. Great job, y'all. Come back tomorrow, protest again. So some people like, no. The other people like, all right, they turning around. Rocks, boom, coming again. So, excuse me. I go back again, talk to him again, say the same thing. That was like the third, what y'all see is like the third time of me talking to him. You know what I mean? So I go up to him again. He was like, bro, I'm trying to give you time. And I was like, look behind you. I mean, look behind me, though. It's people going home. It's a lot of the crowd had dispersed. You know what I mean? So I was like, it's a lot of people going home, bro. You see it's working. Don't start shooting tear gas again. Just give us more time. You see it's working. And he was like, all right, cool. But this time I was like, just hold my hand and walk with me. And I promise you they're going to go home, bro. They're going to go home if you hold our hand and walk with us. So he was like, all right. So he held my hand, and that's what y'all see in the video. We walking. Now, when the cameras and everybody, once we started walking, everybody came out there with the cameras and started taking pictures and stuff like that and all of that. Mind you, it's still people throwing rocks while all this is going on. You know what I mean? So I'm still talking on the bullhorn, trying to tell people, yo, go home. They letting us rock. Just be peaceful. Go home, or they gonna kill us out here. Y'all not grasping that. You know what I mean? So while I'm talking, somebody throw a firework. Like I'm talking about one of them big fireworks you see on July 4th. You feel me? Man, because I really thought it was a bomb or something at first, man. It's a video out there. I gotta find the video because the video captured all of that stuff. But when the firework went off, everybody started running, and they was about to start shooting again. And I was like, no. Now I'm putting my hands up again, like, no, don't start shooting. They're leaving. They are leaving. It's just one or two people out there doing this stupid ass shit. You feel me? Just let them go. So they chilled. They didn't do nothing. After that big ass firework went off in front of them, they still didn't do nothing. So I was like, give me some more time, bro. He was like, all right. So I turned back around, and I told my girl, and I told her friend, and I told a couple more people, yo, let's hold hands and form a line and start walking back and tell them to walk back. And that's when everything started to chill out. You know what I mean? And probably like 5 minutes after that, it was probably about 10, 15 more people out there still mad, still angry. Like, I'm not going home. It was one dude, man, it hit me in my soul, bro. There was one dude out there. He had his gun, bro. He was ready to start shooting the police, bro. He had his hand on his gun and everything. You feel me? He was like, man, I'm not going home. Nah, man. I was like, bro, I just got out of jail, bro. I just got out of jail, bro. Trust me when I tell you, I'm angry like you, bro. But we cannot win this war. It's not going to happen. They're going to kill us. So he was like, man, I don't care, man. I was like, bro, trust me, bro. I done fought police before. I done did all of that. And I'm talking about way before these protests started. My first real charge was from fighting a cop. You know what I mean? So he was like, man, fighting a cop. I got shot 4 times by a cop. They pulled up his shirt. And I'm like, so I'm like, bro, I feel you, bro. But if you pull out your strap and you start shooting at these police right now, you're going to be dead. Then what? Then he got quiet after that. You know what I mean? So that was like the last person for real that was being rowdy. You know what I mean? It was him. It was a group of people. It was him and a few other people. And they was the ones, I think they was the ones throwing the rocks because I caught the boy in mid-action about to throw the rock and I had to yell at him like, stop, bro. What are you doing? Like, he was like, all right, man. All right, man. And he put his rock down and they ended up walking and turning around and going home. So
Faris, in Wilmington, do you consider Wilmington your hometown? I never asked you that if you were born.
No, I'm from Smyrna, Delaware. I lived in Wilmington. Yeah, I lived in Wilmington for probably about 6 years before I moved to Atlanta. So, does it feel like my home? Yeah, I was out there for a long time. I was making money out there. I met a lot of friends out there.
Sure.
So a lot of business people. Yep.
Well, let me ask you. I have a lot of students across the country that listen to this podcast. And watch it. And so, hearing your story about how you chose to peacefully try to break things up last night amidst everything, talking to the guy who's ready to shoot a police and give up his life for things. I know in Wilmington 2 nights ago, we had some looting and some stores that were destroyed. And I watched online as my friends in media were recording, and I recognize some of those faces.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to our young people that are new into this movement of fighting? They have the years of aggression that does need to come out. Like, I get it, but what would you say to them about healthy choices and things, and what are you supposed to do with your energy right now?
I would say to them young men, I understand y'all angry. I'm angry. You feel me? I get it completely. Let me say that first. Any of y'all listening, I love y'all, but we gotta be smart. You know what I mean? You cannot let your emotions run your actions, because what's going to end up happening is the few people out here who are acting that way are going to make it worse for everybody. Y'all are going to make it worse for everybody if y'all keep doing what y'all doing, because the only reason these curfews are going to affect is because people are doing what they're doing. And then when curfew comes, they're going to enforce curfew. There's no way around that. And if you don't listen to curfew, then comes martial law. And because of martial law, Donald Trump is going to stay in office. So y'all have to understand that. Y'all got to think about everybody else and not just yourself. Don't let your emotions run your actions. You got to be smart. Throwing rocks, looting stores and all of that stuff. At the end of the day, I feel you. I get it. But that is just going to make shit worse. At the end of the day, it's going to make it worse. And more people are going to die. And I'm not going to say you're the blame, because you're not the blame. We are not the blame for none of this. None of this. We're not the blame for it. But there are things we can do that is either going to make this situation get better or worse. So it's your choice. It's your choice. Just know that with your actions, consequences come with that. And because your actions, more people that look like us can be killed. And the whole point of this is because we are getting killed. So think about that. Just really rest on that and think about that, man. Think about that.
I appreciate it. I'm going to play a video that yesterday just absolutely, it floored me. And I think it goes to exactly what we're talking about.
But we not going to take him next week. He
Man, somebody gonna get killed tomorrow. And I understand. Somebody gonna get killed tomorrow. And you best believe my mama talked me from going right downtown last night with my tired of it. And standing right there. And I understand. I'm tired of it, man. I understand, Black every fucking day. I understand. Well, we worried about this. I understand. But we won't stand up for it. I understand. They get killed on the TV. Talk to me. I understand. How old are you? I'm tired of this. How old are you? I'm 45 years old. 45 and I'm 31. And I'm tired of seeing this. And you the older generation than me, and I am too. And we've been standing around as the older ones, taking all this bullshit. Always hoping for a kumbaya fucking y'all. Come here. Always standing around for a kumbaya. Ain't nobody coming to protect us. Let me tell you, we gotta start our own fucking life. I understand. But let me tell you something right here. This 16. He's 16. They gonna kill him. He's 16. What we gonna do? You tell me. What we gonna do? This ain't the way. Cause they ready to let loose. If the United States president say, if you loot and shoot, then you can see doing this. I know it. It's all I know. But it's time to stand up. So at this point, I'm ready to die. What's going on? Let me tell you something. That's the problem that we got. You see right now, it's gonna happen 10 years from now. And at 26, you're gonna be doing the same thing I'm doing. You understand that? 10 years. You're gonna be right here too. But he also got so what I need to do right now at 16 is come up with a better way. Cause how we doing it, it ain't working. He angry at 46. I'm angry at 31. You angry at 16. It's over, you understand me? Putting yourself in harm's way is not the way. No, it's not. You and the other your counterparts the same age and that have that same power. Y'all come up with a better way. Cause we ain't doing it. Oh my God. And I have a 5-year-old son. And it ain't happening. I watched 4 years ago, King Lamont Scott did the same shit y'all do. The same exact night after night after night. It don't matter. Come on with a better way. You understand me? You keep yourself safe.
Bro, that shit, man.
It's done, dude.
That shit real, bro.
Yeah.
That shit real, bro.
You know, yesterday I posted that video in the morning, and I said to people, if you watch nothing else today, that's the video you have to watch. I can post my opinions and get 100 likes, 15 shares, get 15 shares, and it goes viral. Happens a lot to stuff that I post. Why, I don't know. Yesterday I posted that. Guess how many likes it got?
How many, bro?
0. Guess how many comments it got? 0. So finally last night I said, hey, you know what? There's a lot of silent voices on my wall. So I'm going to post this again. And I guess there's a few brave people that want to listen and understand it. That video absolutely destroyed me because anybody that does not understand what this is about, you watch that video, you better get it.
Right. Straight up, bro. Straight up, man. Straight up, bro. I watched it. I watched that video yesterday, man. And it's like you can't even hold back the tears from that, bro, because that shit real. That shit real, bro. That shit real, bro. For real. It's like we tired, bro. We just tired, man. We tired, bro. Tired of this shit. Tired, man. Tired of our people getting killed. Tired, bro. It is like we gotta be the bigger people. If we the ones getting killed. And that shit hurt. Because it's like we gotta deal with it, bro. We gotta deal with that shit while we getting killed. We gotta keep telling them to chill out. Because if you don't chill, they're gonna kill more of us. And that shit hurt. It hurt, bro. For real, man, that shit hurt, bro. Because you angry and you want to lash out, but you know if you lash out, it's not enough of your people who feel how you feel. It's not enough of y'all being militant. It's not enough of us being militant, and we're not going to win that way. We just gonna keep dying. So y'all gotta be smart. Gotta be smart. Gotta be smart. If we keep fighting like this is what they want. Now, I ain't gonna say all of them. But this is what some of them want. They want to kill us. They're waiting for us to act crazy so they can kill us. They waiting. So we gotta be smart because they know we can't win the war that way. They know that. They know we can't win the war with guns. So we gotta be smart. We gotta use our minds to win this war. Straight up, man.
Faris, for people like myself, you know, I try to use whatever platforms that I have to give voice to my students. So anything that affects my students, you know, when I'm looking at, you know, 15-year-olds, 14-year-olds out in the streets angry right now, like this is something that, you know, it's just, I want to do whatever I can possibly do. But if you're looking for people that don't look like you, what can we do right now to help support our brothers and sisters that are people of color? What is it that people can be doing right now to be active and supportive?
And I feel like anybody that don't look like us, that don't mean y'all can't help us. You know what I mean? Y'all see what's going on. So come out there with us. You know what I mean? Like I said before, y'all have to accept the reality. Y'all can't ignore it. You got to accept the reality. So our white friends, our Mexican friends, our Puerto Rican friends, be out there with us. Be out there with us in the front lines. Be out there with us in the middle. Be out there with us in the end of the line. Because we all have to be out there to make sure everything remains peaceful. Yes, protest, but the ones, it's going to be knuckleheads every protest. We got to be there to make sure that the knuckleheads don't fuck it up for everybody, because that's what's going to happen. So if you want to help us by controlling the crowd. Help us by protesting peacefully and controlling the crowd. All this throwing bricks through windows and shit, man, it's not the way. Trust me, listen, bro, I was out there first night with CNN, fighting with them. I was a part of all of that, bro. And while I was doing that, I realized, like, yo, this not the way. This ain't the way. This gonna get us killed. This is not the way, man. This ain't it. So it's like, y'all just keep spreading that message that the positive part of this, the positive part is that we got to stick together and protest peacefully. Fuck all that loot and stuff. Forget all of that. We got to stop doing that, man, because that's just going to get us killed straight up.
Faris, you've been out there. There's been reports on the news, and it's tough to find out what's true, what's not true. Lots of people coming in from out of state that are causing problems in Minneapolis, that are causing problems in New York City. Have you seen that the people that are causing more of the damage and issues are less from the protests you're involved in and more from people that are trying to stir the pot, other groups from outside?
It's everybody. And that's what the worst part is. It's people out there trying to stir the pot. Then it's people out there who are out there for their own gain, waiting for stuff to go left so they can break stuff and steal stuff. Then there's people out there with the call. That's the hardest part, because everybody's out there and everybody has different intentions. You feel what I'm saying? It's not just white people looting. It's not just black people looting. It ain't just Mexican people looting. It's all of us. Everybody is out there doing it. You know what I mean? It's in, excuse me. That's another thing we got to learn. We got to stop trying to put blame on a whole group of people for a certain thing, for a certain individual. It's not everybody. You can't blame all white people for a few white people. You can't blame all black people for a few. You can't blame all police for a few police. You can't. That is not logical. That's not rational. You know what I mean? That is irrational and illogical. It doesn't even make sense. How can you judge a whole group of people off of one or two people's actions? That don't make sense. What makes people different is how they were raised. What makes people different is the spirit that lives inside of them. That's what makes people different, not the color in your skin. That don't got shit to do about it. You know what I mean? So we got to stop doing that, man, for real. We got to stop throwing everybody into one bunch because of one person. Straight up, bro.
Labeling entire groups is how we got here, I believe, right?
Right. Facts, bro. Facts.
So what's your plans? I mean, I guess, over the next week, 2 weeks, I guess I'll give you mine. I normally don't give my personal opinion on anything during my podcast because I love asking questions and really getting other people, but I'm going to give you my personal thoughts on some stuff. Minneapolis, right? I was completely 100% okay with some violence and some looting because they hadn't arrested the cop. And as far as I was concerned, if peace isn't working, you turn the violence and you get their attention. They arrested the cop. There were 3 other cops that were present during that. They have not arrested those 3 cops. What do you see as, and understand you are not the spokesperson for our protests, millions of people across the country, but what do you see as the end or outcome of all this? What is it when you're out on the streets that people want? Because we're not going to fix systemic racism overnight. We're not going to fix that in a year. I mean, it's going to take decades. That's just the truth. So what is it that we need to have happen right now to get people to the table and start talking and understanding and not burning down D.C., sections of New York City last night? How do we find peace when we don't have full justice quite yet?
It's the same thing as I said before, man. Is accepting reality. That is the hardest thing to do right now, is to accept the reality of the situation, and not acting off emotions. Right now, they locked the dude up, and even the dude they locked up, they gave him a bullshit charge. You know what I mean? So,
right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So we got to keep going, keep protesting every day. I'm tired. I've been out here for 3 days, bro. I've been locked up. I'm tired, but I'm going to keep going out there and protesting because the world is protesting. I don't think this has ever happened, ever. The world is protesting right now. So we can't stop. We got to keep going, because if we stop, it ain't going to be too long for this shit happen again. You know what I mean? So we got to keep going, man. We got to keep protesting every day. Keep communicating with these police officers, the military, because they're out there. Keep talking to them every day. So we are all on the same page. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not just the citizens that are telling these prosecutors and stuff. It's everybody, because the military don't want to be out there. They don't want to be there. They do not want to be there. The police, they don't want to be there. You know what I mean? So the more we talk to them and keep telling them, keep getting their side and our side, that is how we're going to keep this thing going along peacefully. You feel me? They locked him up. Now let's keep protesting. Now, if we protested for 6 months and they still ain't locked them up, listen, what happens is going to happen. I can't do nothing about the rest of them, and I'm not mad at them for being angry. You feel me? Because I strongly believe when peace don't work, what other way do you got?
Absolutely.
Straight up.
I said yesterday, I was talking to my parents about it, and my mom was like, I completely understand it. I completely get it. And I said, put it in different terms. We're at war. And it's, you talk about justified wars, and it's a justified war at this point. If you have, I watched George Brown get choked for selling cigarettes, and I watched the police officers completely walk from that and get 0 charges whatsoever, and some bullshit excuses, in my opinion, about what was going on during that. Right. If I am watching this and getting as angry as I am, and I'm not a person of color, I completely get it. I look at it from the standpoint of the system's not changing. Right. Here we are. What was George Brown, 4 years ago? 5 years ago?
Yeah, like 4 or 5 years ago.
It's a while ago now. I mean, but here we are 5 years later or whatever it's been, and the names continue on. And, you know, to me, it's an uncomfortable truth of, yeah, that's where we are. We need to go to war now because there needs to be policies put in place, better training put in place. The police officer, like I described earlier, that type of person needs to be removed from the police force once you know that about that individual. You should have no right. If we're removing politicians for immorality and stuff, we should be removing police officers for their racism, because you cannot uphold the Constitution and the freedom and the liberty and pursuit of happiness for one another if you aren't doing that equally and unbiased.
Exactly.
And, I think that's where we find ourselves.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. Straight up. That's real. That's real, bro.
Well, I hope to check in with you again here soon, find out how things are going. I'm really glad we got to do this. I'm glad we got to hear your voice, because I think you bring up a lot of points that need to be shared. I'm hoping that people listen to this the entire way through, because I think that as this interview went through, you kept offering more and more. To the young people, I hope they heard what you had to say. I hope you stay safe. That's my first thing for you. I want you to be safe and healthy and well. So be mindful of your surroundings. And, you know, I really absolutely appreciate your time. Is there any closing things you want to say to the people?
I just want y'all to be smart, man. Be smart. Don't act off your emotions. Just be smart. That's it.
All right. Thanks, Faris.
Thank you, bro.
Absolutely. That's been another episode of The Outlet. And I think normally I always end with music. Today, we're going out in silence.